Hey guys, it's Jay here, and so I was a full-time licensed California real estate agent for 12 years actually, and a question I often got asked was, "Hey Jay, how much is your salary?" Or not directly, but people would often wonder how much the salary was for a real estate agent, and so I can definitely get into that. It really depends. Definitely depends on how many homes you sell, obviously, how much those homes are priced, what your broker split is, and to name a couple things. So it really depends. So in California, it's not the cheapest state. It's very expensive for real estate. So I'm specifically in the Bay Area. So homes here, boy, it's getting expensive now. So it's 2025 now, and so I would just say the area that I live in right now, the average home would be, let's just say, $700,000. Typically you would be either the buyer's agent or the seller's agent, and so you would be looking around at around 2.5% on general ballpark as far as the earning commission on one side of the transaction. So, for example, just get my calculator here. So, if you were lucky enough to help a buyer find a home that's worth $700,000 and you help them through the entire transaction, let's just take the $700,000 price range, the price. So I have $700,000 right here. And so what you would do as an agent was you would just multiply that by, let's see, how would you, 0.025, like that, and then equals 17,500. So that would be the commission on one side of a transaction of a home that would be worth $700,000 price range. I mean, price at that price. So that would be for one home, right? So, but we're not done. So 17,500, and so it would also depend on your broker's split. That's what we would call it. So that would be anywhere from, so if you just got your license and you joined an office, a brokerage, real estate office, a lot of times you would start out at 50%, 50, meaning that if you sell a house and you did make this $17,500, you would have to give half of that to the broker. Okay, so point 0.05, 8,750 would go to the broker, and the other 8,750 would be in your pocket. And so that would be if you just started out. So over the years, as you sell more homes, your broker would increase the broker's split from 50% to, if let's say you do a good job or you hit a certain threshold, you would be bumped up to like 60%. So meaning that you would be able to keep 60% of that commission now instead of 50%, which is better, right? So the goal is to keep on bumping that up. So 50%, 60%, 70%. After a while, you would get up to 70%, which is pretty good. And then a lot of veterans would be up to like the 80%, 90%, which was where I was at. A lot of offices now actually would offer, hey, come and join us for 80%. You guys can keep 80%, or even higher. But a lot of times you would see like 80%, and that's great. I can go into another whole nother video about the percentages and how that's determined and kind of how that works. So obviously at 50%, there would be more hand holding from your boss because you would definitely need help. There would be so many questions and lots of things going on. And so obviously the broker would spend more time and resources on you or it would be the buyer, the broker's actual client or lead that he or she would give to you to work on to try to close the deal. So yeah, so you start at typically 50% and you work all the way up to like 90%, if you're lucky. And so that would be that. And so it just depends on how many homes you can sell, right? So that's for a $700,000 home. So let's just, for example, let's just say that let's just say that we get lucky. We find a buyer at an open house, and we sell them that home, right, at $700,000. And let's just say you're at a 90-10 commission broker split. So you would, and you would obviously you would be taking that 2.5% side of the commission, which is determined by the and this is not financial advice, by the way. I am no longer a licensed California real estate agent, but I do have many, many years in the industry, so I feel comfortable answering these. So you would take a $700,000 price and you multiply that by 2.5%. Oops, 700,000 and times 0.025, and that would be 17,500. And let's just say you're like, oh, awesome. Okay, now how much do I have to give to my broker? So you'd be like, okay, 0.90. Oops, 500. And then you would also obviously 1750 would go to your broker, so that would leave you with what is it, 15,750. So that's a lot better, right? So imagine let's just say, for example, let's just keep it short at and don't forget, you have to keep a portion of this and for taxes, right? I'm not a tax advisor or anything like that, so please do your own due diligence. I'm just talking from my experience, guys. Okay, so just so you don't get in trouble, you hold a 23%, whatever, to the side to pay the IRS at the end of the year. So give or take, let's just say you make $15,000 for per house, per one side, depending if you're the buyer's agent or the seller's agent. So it would depend totally on how many of those homes you could sell. So it's tough. If you're lucky, you can sell one home a month, right? It's not as easy as it seems. A lot of agents would sell 2 homes a month, 3 homes a month, 4, 5 homes, 10 homes. The sky's the limit. It's pretty crazy, but for an average guy like me, I would be lucky if I could sell a house per month, right? So how it works though is it's not always so consistent like that. That's one downside of it, maybe, if you want to look at it that way. So for example, one month you might sell like 3 homes, right? And then the next month you might sell 1 home, and then the next month you might sell 0 homes, and the next month you might sell 5 homes, and it's really like that sometimes. And so what you have to do is you have to kind of take an average of the homes you sold during the last 12 months or whatever, and that's how you would kind of break it down and figure out, okay, how much can I use every month for myself, and so that would be so it's hard to answer how much do you make a year and how much do you make a month. Obviously the month is hard to answer because it really, really depends on the market, how many homes you sell, if it's a buyer's market, seller's market. I'm just looking at my notes here, but and also experience. It definitely depends on your experience as a licensed real estate agent on your how you can how much you sell. A lot of it just comes down to that. So that's a whole nother subject there, and that's pretty much how it goes. So yeah, you can do the math and keep in mind the $700,000 price range. That's maybe you would say on the higher end. Some homes obviously are a million, 1.2, 1.5, a lot higher, but some homes are 600,000, 500,000. So a lot of times you would just do the math like that. You multiply that by however much you are offered on one side of the transaction, which is typically 2.5%, 3% sometimes. Just depends. So that's how a lot of times a realtor will be there on their calculator just figuring out how much they would earn on transaction, and keep in mind, guys, a transaction could last a month, 2 months, couple months. Just depends, right? Sometimes a lot longer, but typically a month or 2. Sometimes faster, right, if it's a cash deal. But that's pretty much it. So I hope this is helpful. it was definitely an important subject to us real estate agents. So anyway, I will try to make another video on the another question that was often asked to me as a real estate agent. All right, take it easy, guys. Thanks.